What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Doubted. My name's Christian Montemoano. Today, we're here with our first guest on the new season, Farrell. Farrell, man, introduce yourself, tell everyone, where you're from, and just, how you started to play the game of basketball.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thanks for having me on. I'm Farrell Djossinou. I go to Paul VI High School. I'm class of 2027. I'm a junior right now. So my basketball journey, I'd say it started like my early days. I was born in California. Right before I started kindergarten, I came over to Virginia, and Northern Virginia. That's where I've been spending my life since then. I'd probably say I joined just a rec league when I was in first or second grade. Didn't take it very seriously, just a little kid playing, having fun, things like that. But as I went further with it, I eventually was able to make the travel team. There was like a higher level to it. And then, at that point, I was a lot taller than my peers, and I really started to think maybe I could do something with this basketball stuff. So I really started to take it serious. I started training, things like that. And then I was able to find a good AU team, D1SA Spartans. It's a Northern Virginia team, and they really helped me kind of push me to that next level. As I got into high school, I did my first years at Lightridge High School, so that's just my local public high school. My freshman year, I made varsity. I had a
Yeah.
decent role. But my sophomore year, I'd say I really stepped it up. I was the leading scorer, leading rebounder on the team. And being able to be a leader on that team at such a young age, I would say really set me up for the future. So after that, I had a great summer with my AU team, Virginia Elite, and then Paul the Six came to me. They recruited me. I came to a few workouts. I met the coaches, and I thought it'd be a good fit for me. So that's where I just spent my junior year. We finished up our season. Went to Chipotle Nationals, finished third. Got to play with Jordan Smith Jr. He was number two ranked this season. Learned a lot from him. But overall, the season was great.
I want to take it back to just what you were saying about when you started playing travel ball when you were younger and how noticed not just from a physical standpoint, you being taller than your peers and all that, but just seeing the potential that you had getting more skilled, learning to use your athleticism, your body the right way, you could really make something out of it. So I would say for you, man, like when you really notice that growth spurt. I mean, like you're even now, like your wingspan and just the way you can move and just the length at the end of the day and your height when you're getting downhill against guys transition or just even in the half court as well. Like I think you have just some guard some guard wiggle to you and being able to get downhill, but you're taller than all those guys. So just what would you say? Were you a guard when you were younger? Like, what gave you that ability to handle the ball and get downhill and make those kind of plays that a lot of people your size can't really do?
Oh yeah, so I was definitely not a guard when I was younger. I was a lot taller than my peers and not taking basketball very seriously. I kind of relied on that a lot. I would just sit at the rim, I could pivot, throw it at the rim, get a rebound, and all that stuff. But as I would watch college basketball, I watch NBA basketball. I realized, right now I'm 6'7", 6'6", 6'7". I have about a 6'8" wingspan, which is good. It definitely helps, but it's definitely not a big man frame. So I realized I would have to work on my guard skills. And I think a big part of that was that COVID lockdown. There wasn't a whole lot going on, so I really I was in sixth grade at the time, but I really sat down and I'm like, I can take advantage of this. I can start working on my ball handling, my shooting. I can really become the basketball player that I want to be. So that's probably when I really started to flip my game because before that, I was completely at the basket. I wasn't a guard type of player at all. But after that lockdown, I came out. I surprised a lot of people that I had known before because all of a sudden I was dribbling a lot more. I could shoot the ball more. I was finding my spot. So I think that was probably the biggest flip for me when it came to my play style. And just as far as getting downhill and being aggressive, I take a lot of pride in that because I trust my work. I I like to say I'm a hard worker and I could always do more, but the amount of work I put in, I'm able to trust that when I go on the floor and live with the results. And so far it's been working for me.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, gotta trust the work, right? So yeah, that's it right there. So for you, when you made that transition or that adjustment to, working on your ball handling, getting more comfortable handling the ball and, not like you said, relying on your height, learning how to, get to your spots and create for yourself and others around you at the end of the day. During that period during COVID, when you got back, was that like around that was late middle school, right? Or, seventh, sixth, seventh grade for you when at the end of COVID?
Yeah, it was 7th grade. So COVID started when I was in 5th grade. My whole 6th grade year was online. And then 7th grade, we started to come back. 8th grade was fully back.
Yeah. So for those middle school years, made hoops, that's a really big, middle school circuit. You playing your AAU team that you played on, your travel team, was that like on a circuit, or what was the competition like when you were playing, travel ball those years?
Yeah, we were an independent team, but we were in all those made hoops, hoop group tournaments. So I think that was also a big step for me in middle school because elementary school, I wasn't really exposed to that stuff. But, with social media nowadays and everything, just being able to see the competition that was out there and being able to play against guys that were than me at the time kind of motivated me to push myself to be as good as I could be and realize that I could be just as good as these guys. I have the athleticism, I have the size. The only thing that's holding me back is me. So I'd say that those middle school years really propelled me to kind of push myself to the place that I am at now. And I just wanna keep going. Yeah.
Definitely. So when did you start playing with Virginia Elite? Program that has sent a lot of guys to the college level. I believe some pros as well, but just a program on the Under Armour circuit. For you, when you stepped into Virginia Elite and you began playing with those guys, was that an adjustment at first, just getting used to that level of physicality and maybe just the way that those guys were playing out there on the floor? Was it an adjustment at first?
But yeah, it was definitely an adjustment. Leading up to that point, I'm from Northern Virginia, which is still part of the DMV, but it's not really as competitive, I would say, as those
Okay,
DC and Maryland areas. But now all of a sudden, when I started playing for Virginia
okay.
Elite, last season, 16 was my first year. I'm starting up my second year right now. It was definitely a shift to the level of competition and the coaching level. They held me to a higher standard, and my teammates were a lot more competitive than what I had dealt with before. But I think just being in that environment, you're going to rise up to it. I was able to rise up to the challenge and ended up having a great summer, good impact on the team. So I'd like to definitely thank my coaches, Coach Gadsden, Coach Rashad, Coach Evan, all of them. They did a great job kind of preparing me for the next level. They're continuing to do that good job. And I'd say Virginia Elite is definitely a great platform as far as college coaches because we're able, with the kind of experience that Coach Gadsden has with the college level, I already know he's going to hold me to that standard to where I want to be. So being able to be around that for the past year has definitely pushed my game to a completely different level.
For sure. Yeah, gotta be around people that have, gotten to where you wanna be and could help you get to that next level, get out of your comfort zones. Yeah, I definitely, even right now, man, like how you've been, talking about, the season you just had with PVI, like, just seems like, maybe at first, it's a challenge. It's something that you gotta hold yourself to a standard every day, but then once you get to that point, like, then there's that new challenge. So it seems like the challenges that Coach Gadsden and the other guys on a part of that program, it's really paying and off, and it's getting you, going to where you want to be. So that's great to hear. For you, you said first summer playing with Virginia Elite was last summer. Just traveling, I think that's a huge part about those big AU circuits is just the amount of traveling you're doing, going to a different city. At least at the beginning, it's pretty much every weekend, every other weekend, you're going to a different city, pretty far from where you're at. So just what was that like? Just traveling with your guys. I'm sure there's a lot of bonding memories, your teammates on the road, but just what was that travel experience like for you going around playing at all those AAU tournaments?
Oh, yeah, the traveling was definitely great, getting to be outside the DMV, seeing all these different styles of basketball played and all these players from other different areas definitely was an eye-opening experience, but I think it, again, helped my game to another level. And my family's definitely very supportive, it would be a lot of tournaments. My entire family goes, my mom, my brother, my dad, and my sister. All of us would just hit the road, they come to all my games and support. I think just having that backbone kind of helps me, play my best. They're always there for me. And I also like to thank my
That's awesome.
I mean, at Virginia Elite, I have great teammates. They're supportive of me. Even when I'm down, they pick me up. I think as a group together, the continuity we've had from last year to this year, we're going to be really good.
Now I wanna get into just the season you had at Paul VI this year. Like you said, Chipotle went to Chipotle Nationals, 30 plus wins. That's a program that has sent a lot of guys to the next level and is a program, one of the best programs in the country. So I'll take it back to when they first started recruiting you and wanting to bring you onto the program. I know like you were already familiar with that program beforehand just from just how good they've been and the amount of great players they've had over the years. But when they began recruiting you, what was the I don't want to say like the pitch, but just what was going through your mind when you were going through that decision? Who were some of the guys? Were there any guys that you were thinking of maybe that like I could have this kind of role or I could have, you know, I could fit this role on the team. Were there any guys that you were thinking of?
Yeah, just I've known about PVI since, I started playing basketball. I actually only live 5 minutes away from the campus right now. So when the coach came to me, I was already familiar with it. I've even been going to their camp since I was little. So just being able to be in that spot where I'm now considered for the team was really, it kind of showed me how far my work had brought me. The biggest thing I would say that I learned at PVI is the importance of defense. That's really what we preach over there. Being able to defend and stop the guy in front of you from scoring is one of the things that we focus on. And I think that's really the biggest thing that'll translate to the next level. Coach Farrell, he sent tons of guys to the Division 1 level, to the NBA. And just that experience around you, the competitive practices, running, the speed of the game, all that was a big shift for me, but it's definitely going to prepare me best for the next level. And I would say a big player that I saw that I could have that same type of role is Brandon Slater. He ended up going to Villanova. He's playing professionally overseas right now. But he was around a lot during the summer, at camps, at practices, just helping us out. And I really kind of built a connection with him, and he was able to kind of ease me into it, kind of show me the ropes. Because coming from a Northern Virginia public school, it's almost like a completely different game. So I was a little bit nervous at first, I wasn't sure exactly how it would go, but just being able to have that kind of support from the coaching staff made the shift a lot easier.
I think it's really helpful that, Brandon Slater, he was able to be there and you were able to get some of that one-on-one time with him and have those conversations, pick his brain about, how he approached his role and then get advice from him on how you can improve, how you can get to where you want to be as well. So besides him, do a lot of the guys come back during the summer?
Oh yeah, yeah, a ton. I mean, I saw Darren Harris, Jeremy Roach, Trevor Keels. The kind of family that we have at PVI. You really don't see that anywhere else. All the guys come through, spend time with the team, help out with the kids at camp. They'll all come. They'll talk to us. They just let us know kind of what they laid for us and how they want us to keep the program continuing going. Because to be good for as long as PVI has been good, it's not easy. Every group has to take on that same challenge to keep it pushing and keep it pushing. And being able to have the guys who started it right in front of you and kind of challenge you to keep it going, it's unmatched. It helps so much.
Yeah. And for you going from, like you said, a Northern Virginia public school, stepping into that program where there are expectations, there is a standard, and the former players coming back and letting you know that standard. Besides those guys, the current players on the team, you talked about Jordan Smith and just learning from him since you've been at the school, but your other teammates as well. Like, what were some of those at the very beginning, even from an academics perspective as well? Like, just what were some of the things, the conversations that you had with your teammates that have maybe been there for a couple years and know what you're stepping into? Just what were those conversations and who were the guys that like, really set the path for you or just, supported you along your journey and kind of let you know what it is at the end of the day?
Yeah, at PVI, definitely academics is a big part of what we do. Our coach is always doing grade checks because in order to get to that next level, you always have to be doing right in the classroom. So that was definitely a big part of the transition because the private school education is a little different than the public school. But I like to say I'm a pretty good student. I have a 4.0 GPA, but just the shift with the course level and the
Okay.
coursework definitely took me a little bit to get used to. But I found my footing. And as far as my teammates, our other senior point guard, Turk Brown, he definitely did a great job of kind of helping me in because I hadn't played with a point guard as good as him ever. He's the kind of intensity and he brings every game. He commands the court and he's able to kind of lead the team as another coach on the floor. That helped me so much, being able to kind of look to my teammate instead of having to look to the coach whenever the team's in a bad spot or whenever the other team goes on a run. The kind of composure that he always has, he's able to lead the team back in. It was something that was great for me. So I'd say definitely both of our seniors, Jordan Smith and Turk Brown, they kind of led the way. And then everybody else kind of accepted their role. We were able to fall in, including me. And that definitely helped my progression because I know in college at the next level, I might not come on campus being able to score the ball or being the number one shooting option, but kind of being able to go through that a little early with PVI, having these 2 seniors in front of me leading the way is definitely gonna, benefit me down the line, and I'm glad I was able to experience it my junior year.
Talk me through earlier on in the season. I'm sure pre-summer workouts are, I'm sure, very, very tough, very difficult getting you guys ready for the season ahead, playing a national schedule and doing all the traveling that you guys were doing. Talk me through just earlier in the season. What were some of the things that you were telling yourself as you were making that adjustment, as you were transitioning into that level of play and fitting your role? What were some of the things that you were telling yourself at that time? And just as a group looking ahead towards the end of the season, what were some of those goals, the mindset around the team?
Yeah, those first few summer workouts were definitely brutal, you know? The speed of the game was just a completely different level. I wasn't in shape at all compared to where I was coming from, so I had to get up to speed with that really quick. Just being able to be around the team for the summer, we had a ton of summer workouts and games, so we were able to be well prepared. Getting into the start of the season, it was a little bit difficult for me because I hadn't played that level of competition in my life before, but I would just tell myself, this is a new experience. Stay with it, keep pushing because all the coaches there believe in me, my teammates believe in me. All that's left is for me to kind of find my footing. So just being able to be in the same practices, these college level practices, keep on running, sticking with it. We practice almost every day of the week. In season lifts help. Just the kind of rigor that we have, just continuously pushing and putting into it and putting into it. It's almost impossible to not get better. So as the season went on, I got better with a lot of things: my defense, my rebounding, my communication, the speed of the game. Even coming where I came from in Northern Virginia public schools, we didn't even play with the shot clock. Then all of a sudden, it's a certain amount of time you have to get a shot off. So that was also a big switch, because coming from where I came from, the possessions would take a lot longer, but now the game is just moving up and down. Just being able to kind of play with that speed, run the floor, transition threes. It was definitely a new experience, but I kind of liked that style of basketball a lot more, I would say. And then just being able to go through that with my
Yeah.
teammates and my coaches, winning games, playing defense. It was a great start to the season. Got into it. We ended up winning the WCAC's state championship. We made it to Chipotle Nationals. I think it was a very successful season, firstly for the team, but also for me.
Talk about those national events, Chipotle Nationals, like that's the pinnacle. You're going up there with the goal of being the last one standing. But those middle of the season tournaments, like it's great to win them, but at the end of the day, you know what the goal is at the end of the season. So how was it for you going to those national tournaments, winning, doing really well at those tournaments as a team and just playing that level of competition around the country? What was that like, just working, going through that competition in the middle of the season? A lot of teams are used to that at the end of the season. Like, I gotta get ready for playoff time, but for you guys gotta be ready right when the season begins because soon enough y'all are gonna be playing against, national teams on national stages. So what was that like just playing at those national competitions, City of Palms in particular? That's a huge one that I know, you guys did really well at and a lot of people go to. So just talk about that experience, that one tournament, City of Palms. How was that just going through that process?
Yeah, City of Palms was definitely a great experience, getting to go to Florida in the winter to start with, and knowing all these teams around the country. To start the season, a lot of people around the DMV, around the country, were saying that PVI wasn't going to be that good and this and that. But as a team, as a program, we kind of just blocked out the outside noise and then put our heads down in the gym and and just started working together. I think for me personally, just coming from the public school that I came to, it was kind of surreal to see, all these names that I normally see on social media and this and that, 4 stars, 5 stars, and all of a sudden I'm on the same court as them. So, I had to definitely hold my own and then push myself to a different kind of standard. But I think I was able to do that pretty successfully. And I think I would also like to thank our coaching staff because the amount of preparation that we put in for these games was amazing. At our a tournament shoot around or even in practice, the level of detail that would go into our scout teams, our film, everything would be perfect. So we always knew what we were getting ourselves into. We put in the work in practice, so all we had to do was go out there and execute it. That was the easy part.
Definitely. Yeah, coaches getting you guys prepared, like they got to put you guys in the best position to succeed. So that's big time for you now. Season that you just had, wrap that up, and now you're looking ahead to AAU ball this summer. Just had your first tournament of the season with Virginia Elite. So just you're getting ready for AAU ball now. What are some of the things that after walking away from your high school season, getting that exposure, growing so much, and not only on the court, but off the court as well. How do you feel stepping into AAU ball? Like overall, physically, mentally, like are you just ready to you just ready to get after it? Like what's your mindset right now heading into AAU ball?
100% ready to get after it. You know, the amount of training that the coaches put for the team as a whole, obviously, skill wise, I grew a lot better. But I think the bigger shift was my mentality, just kind of bringing it every game, the focus on defense and rebounding, and then just the aggressiveness you have to have at all times, running the floor. Those kind of things really stuck with me from my time at PVI so far. And being able to bring that into the AU team and kind of help my teammates along that, bring them on, I think that's definitely going to have a big impact on us this season. And just being able to run these other teams out the gym is something that I've been speaking about because that's a great. Everyone likes to play fast. Up the floor, get some lobs, get some dunks, some transition threes. So I think learning that from PVI was probably a big part of what I'm going to try to continue pushing no matter where I play. And the team as a whole, I think, could do a lot better with that just off how we started. But, it's a long season. We have some live periods coming up ahead, a lot of practices. So I think we just need to trust the process and continue to keep working.
Definitely. For you, what are some of the individual goals that you have in your mind for this summer, maybe next year too? Just what are some of those individual goals that you have set out for yourself right now?
My biggest goal right now is just to win an Under Armour championship. I mean, everybody wants the offers and the followers and things like that, but I believe if we really do what we're supposed to and we win, everything else will come with that. But going forward into the summer, I want to be able to go into these high school live periods with PVI and kind of show off how far I've come, just continue to impress and show how far I've come. And then just
Yeah.
continue holding to myself to this high standard, because I don't think there's any reason to slow down now with how far I've come. Just continue to work and then show the world how far I've came.
Dude, those high school live periods, everybody talks about, oh, AAU, that's thing over the summer and all that, but those high school live periods, like, those are some of my favorite times to be in the gym, honestly, over the summers, is seeing all those guys come back together because a lot of teams, the players play on different circuits, and they're not really playing with each other much over the summer, and then you guys get back together and get ready for the season and coaches are there. A lot of people show up in the gym for those high school live period events. So that's definitely something that I look forward to personally. So that's cool that you're looking forward to that. And I think how many guys do you have coming back from last year's team at Paul VI?
I think we have like about 10, 11 guys coming back for sure. We had three seniors,
Okay.
Aiden, Turk, and Smitty, and
Yeah.
they were obviously a huge part of our development. But I think our junior class is definitely ready to step up, lead the rest of the team, may bring a few transfers in, whatever the situation might be. But I think we're definitely going to be a strong team going forward.
Right. Awesome, man. So now I want to get into just off the court. You talked about uh 4.0 GPA, the standard that you hold yourself to in the classroom, which I'm sure your parents have played a huge role in that and making sure that you're taking care of your academics as well as what's going on the court. For you, outside of academics, outside of school, basketball, all that, what are some of the things you like to do? Like, do you play the game? Who's Farrell like off the court?
Yeah, I like to say I'm kind of laid back. I'm not always like outside a whole lot. I do love playing 2K though. That's definitely one of my games. I don't get outside a whole lot. Just kind of chilling, watching a show by myself, hanging out with my brother and my sister. Especially that, because I know I'm leaving for college in a little over a year now. Kind of starting to realize the value of hanging out with my brother and my sister. My brother's in 8th grade right now. My sister's in 10th grade. But I'm definitely gonna miss them a lot when I leave. So I have been making an effort to kind of hang out with them more, see them more, whatever the situation could be.
No, awesome. Yeah, that's hey, family first. So that's awesome that you have that perspective. For you on the road, like is 2K the game of choice amongst the team? Do you guys bring a console around or what's that like?
But definitely, I usually bring my console. I got 2 controllers, and we get in some heated games sometimes, you know how it is.
Oh, you bring the console. You
Yeah.
got the game for everybody.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So what's the game for you like or the team of choice for you? Who you running with in play
So,
now or whatever you
y
guys play?
yeah, we usually play now. I'm either going with the Wizards just because 'cause I'm from DC, but if I'm really trying to win a game, I'll go with the Spurs, because Wemby, he's Wemby.
Yeah, right. No, the Wizards do you play with, their updated roster after the trades and all that, or
Yeah,
do
and I
you
turned
play with,
injuries
like, the
off, so
beginning?
I got Trae Young and Anthony Davis on there.
Oh, that's a cheat code, okay. And you got Trey Johnson, he's on there as well. Who else? They got
Yeah,
a
Bub
really good,
Carrington, Alex Sarr.
mix
Wizards
of.
definitely have a good young core.
Yeah, yeah, nah, Bub Carrington for sure. Is he's not from the DMV, right, Bub?
He's from Baltimore, I'm
Is
pretty
or
sure. It's close, but it's not. Baltimore isn't DMV, no.
Okay, okay. They have a good mix of, they have a good mix of guys. Yeah, man, outside of 2K, like, when you say, um, hanging out with your family, watching shows and all that, there any show you watching right now? Like, what are you watching, Netflix? Like, what kinda shows do you like watching?
I'm probably watching Netflix the most. I'd say the biggest show I'm watching right now is One Piece. I've been liking One Piece a lot recently.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the main show I've been watching. I'll watch a few movies here and there, but yeah.
I have a hard time staying consistent with shows, so a movie is what I go with most of the time. I've only watched a few shows, but a good movie every now and again, that'll be good. But man, so for you now, going forward, like you said, you're getting ready for AAU ball. Gonna have some events coming up for you on the recruiting side. Are there any interests right now? Schools that have been contacting you? What's it looking like for recruiting on your end?
So I have an offer from East Texas A&M, and other schools that I've been hearing from are Stanford, Columbia. Let me think. Siena, and the new coaching staff at Syracuse has been hitting me a little bit too. So I think all that's definitely a good foundation, but I definitely want to build on that with the high school live periods and the AU season as it continues to progress.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean that's the time right there. So, getting ready for that and having coaches be there in attendance, that's good. You're looking forward to for sure that opportunity. For you, it seems the value of academics while also opportunities on the court seems like that's a big deal to you and very important. What are some things like what do you say you're looking for in a program in a university? What are things that are important to you?
I definitely I'm looking for kind of a family environment, a school that's going to take care of me. I want to have kind of a connection with the head coaches and my teammates, make sure I know what I'm getting myself into, and definitely academics and a good mix of basketball because I do take a lot of value in that. I work hard in the classroom, so I do want to go to a school that's also going to push me academically while still getting me a competitive experience on the basketball side.
For sure. Well, Farrell, I appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate you giving us your time, sharing your journey, and just what you're looking to do going forward, man. Seems like it's gonna be an eventful summer for you. A lot of opportunity, and I'm just looking forward to seeing you take advantage of it. And just what beyond that next season, your senior year at PVI, you got some exciting things coming up. So really looking forward to seeing all of it and just appreciate you sharing yourself and just what you got going on with everybody and hopefully people could take a piece or two, a little nugget from things that you've talked about and just how you've progressed your journey and apply it to what they got going on. So appreciate you coming on and giving us your time, man. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me.